Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Renuka RS with the evening news. The headlines. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken calls on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. U.S. announces additional $25 million to support India's COVID-19 vaccination program. Antony Blinken also meets National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, discuss strategic issues of importance in security, defense, economic and technology-related sectors. Both houses of parliament witness adjournments as opposition creates a ruckus in various issues, including Pegasus snooping. Cabinet clears Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation Bill 2021. Bill ensures all bank deposits such as savings, fixed deposits, current or recurring deposits. Parliament passes Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021. Government informs around 1 crore 13 lakh houses sanctioned under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban till date. CRPF to be deployed on disturbed area of Assam-Mizoram border, says MHA. Centre states and union territories to issue strict directions to take necessary measures for management of COVID-19. More than 44 crore 61 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.39%. BJP National President JP Nadda launches National Health Volunteers campaign. In Jammu and Kashmir, 7 persons killed while 10 to 15 people missing after cloudburst in Kishtwar district. In Tokyo Olympics, shuttler PV Sindhu and archer Deepika Kumari progress to the pre-quarterfinals. Pugilist Pooja Rani enters quarterfinals. And in cricket, the second T20 between India and Sri Lanka underway in Colombo. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise the young listeners to get vaccinated and also to help others to get vaccinated. We also advise the listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi this evening. In a tweet, Mr. Modi expressed happiness to meet the visiting dignitary. The Prime Minister said he welcomed President Biden's strong commitment to strengthen the India-US strategic partnership, which is anchored in a shared democratic values and is a force for global good. U.S. has announced an additional $25 million to support India's COVID-19 vaccination program. In a tweet, Mr. Blinken said that the United States' support will help save lives by strengthening vaccine supply chains across India. Earlier, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and visiting U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held a meeting today in New Delhi. In his opening remarks, Dr. Jaishankar highlighted that India-US cooperation covers virtually all domains of contemporary relevance. Cooperation against the COVID pandemic was also highlighted by the External Affairs Minister. He also spoke on striving for peace and prosperity in Indo-Pacific, working for democratic stability in Afghanistan, deepening the quadrilateral security dialogue Quad, and working even closer on contemporary challenges and conversations on global issues based on real exchanges of national experiences and historical perspectives.
Regarding Afghanistan, it is essential that peace negotiations are taken seriously by all parties. The world wishes to see an independent, sovereign, democratic and stable Afghanistan, at peace with itself and with its neighbors. But its independence and sovereignty will only be ensured if it is free from malign influences. Similarly, unilateral imposition of will by any party will obviously not be democratic and can never lead to stability.
The U.S. Secretary of State said President Biden's determination is to continue to grow stronger the relationship between India and the U.S. He deeply appreciated the work that both countries have been able to do together. Mr. Blinken said there's not a challenge that does not have impact on the lives of our citizens, whether it's COVID, disruptive impact of emerging technologies, that can be addressed by any one of us acting alone. He said there is greater imperative and cooperation among countries than ever before.
We remember with gratitude, and we will not soon forget the aid and assistance that India provided to us in the early days of COVID-19 when our hospitals were overwhelmed early in the pandemic. And I'm proud that we could help return the gesture of friendship. Over the past few months, the United States government has contributed more than $200 million to India for COVID-19 relief, and there's been a huge outpouring from individual Americans, from the private sector, in support as well.
Later in a media briefing, Dr. Jaishankar said in the discussions today, both sides focused on expanding vaccine production to make it globally affordable and accessible. He acknowledged responsiveness of Biden administration to keeping the raw material supply chains open for vaccine production in India and thanked for the support India received during COVID's second wave from US. On a media query on Chinese criticism to Quad, Dr. Jaishankar said groups of countries working together is not strange, and BRICS is one such example. Mr. Blinken said our bilateral ties enhanced to a level that enables us to deal collaboratively with larger issues. He said Defense Secretary Austin and he looks forward to hosting the Indian counterparts later this year for the 2+2 dialogue. He said both sides discussed regional security issues including Afghanistan. U.S. Secretary said as a credible partner in the region, India has and will continue to make vital contribution to Afghanistan's stability and development. Mr. Blinken said even as U.S. withdraws its forces from Afghanistan, it remains engaged in Afghanistan. He said the Taliban is making advances in district centers and there are reports of them committing atrocities in Afghanistan. It's deeply troubling and it certainly does not speak well about the intention for the country. He said U.S. remain engaged in Afghanistan. Replying to a question on Quad, Mr. Blinken said 4 like-minded countries coming together to work on some of the most important issues of time that are going to have real impact on the lives of people and do in a way that ensures a free and open Indo-Pacific. Mr. Blinken also met National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Both sides discussed strategic issues of importance in security, defense, economic and technology-related sectors. Special attention was on long-term measures to take the relationship to the next level. Views were also exchanged on contemporary and futuristic issues related to regional and global security.
India has said it accords high priority to strengthening ties with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO partners bilaterally on the basis of equality, mutual respect and understanding. Addressing the SCO Defence Ministers meeting in Dushanbe, Tajikistan, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said that India accords high priority to the consolidation of trust in the security domain with the SCO. He reiterated India's resolve to work within the SCO framework for helping create and maintain a peaceful, secure and stable region. The Defence Minister said India also reiterated commitment to partner with fellow SCO member states to develop joint institutional capacities that respect individual national sensitivities. Mr. Singh congratulated member states of the SCO on successful completion of 20 years of its existence. He said that though India joined the organization in 2017, historical and civilizational relations and geographical connects make India inseparable from the SCO. On the issue of terrorism, Mr. Singh said that terrorism is the most serious threat to international peace and security. He reaffirmed India's resolve to fight terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Both the Houses of Parliament today witnessed several adjournments due to continuous protest by the opposition parties over Pegasus snooping and other issues. When the Lok Sabha met after the first adjournment at 12:30 p.m., members from Congress, DMK, TMC and other opposition parties again trooped into the well, raising slogans over the issues. This forced the presiding officer to adjourn the House till 2 p.m. and later again adjourn till 2:30 p.m. Earlier, Ahmed then in the Lok Sabha took up the question hour. In the Rajya Sabha, when the House met after the first adjournment at 12 noon, the scene was no different. Opposition parties including Congress, DMK, TMC, AAP, SP continued their protest against the Pegasus snooping and other issues. Amid the noisy scene, Deputy Chairman Harivansh took up the question hour. Mr. Harivansh urged the protesting members to return to their seats. As the protest continued, he adjourned the House till 2 p.m. and again till 2:45 p.m. When the House met at 2:45 p.m. as the ruckus continued, it was adjourned for the day. The Lok Sabha has also been adjourned for the day.
Lok Sabha today passed supplementary demands for grants first batch for 2021-22 and demands for excess grants for 2017-18 amid pandemonium. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman moved the supplementary demands for grants, which was passed without discussion. The Finance Minister also introduced and moved the two appropriation bills 2021. The bills were passed without discussion. Union Cabinet today cleared the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation Bill 2021. Briefing reporters in New Delhi after the Cabinet meeting, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said it insures all bank deposits such as savings, fixed deposits, current or recurring deposits. She said it also covers all commercial, public, private sector banks and branches of foreign banks in India. The minister said each depositor's deposits in the banks are insured up to maximum of 5 lakh rupees in each bank.
In India, with the increase of insurance amount from 1 lakh rupee to 5 lakh rupees, is going to cover 98.3% of all deposit accounts. Because of this 5 lakh increase, 98.3% of all deposit accounts will get covered. And in terms of deposit value, 50.9% deposits value will be covered.
The Cabinet has cleared the Limited Liability Partnership Amendment Bill 2021. Briefing reporters in New Delhi after the Cabinet meeting, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said a lot of changes are being made in the Companies Act, decriminalizing many sections and improving ease of doing business for companies. She informed that as per the amendment, the number of compoundable offence will be reduced from 22 to 7. The minister said the bill will be tabled in the Parliament.
As of today, you have 24 penal provisions in the Act, 21 compoundable offences, and about 3 non-compoundable offences, and there was no default under which is dealt under an IAM. Now, after the amendment bill which the Cabinet has cleared today, and that which will definitely go to the Parliament, the total number of penal provisions in the Act will be reduced to 22. Number of compoundable offences will be only 7. Number of non-compoundable offences will be only 3, and number of defaults to be dealt under IAMs will be only 12.
The Parliament has passed the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021, with the Rajya Sabha approving it today amid din. The Lok Sabha has already passed the bill. The bill seeks to amend the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. The amendments include authorizing district magistrate, including additional district magistrate, to issue adoption orders to ensure speedy disposal of cases and enhance accountability. Defining eligibility parameters for appointment of Child Welfare Committee members and categorizing previously undefined offences as serious offences are some of the other aspects of the bill. Replying to the bill, Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani said that children need support and Justice and Child Welfare Committee needs to be strengthened. She said protection of rights and need of the children is the priority of the government. She said the bill seeks to provide justice and support to the children.
The government has said that around 1 crore 13 lakh houses have been sanctioned under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban till date. Out of them, more than 84 lakh houses are grounded and more than 50 lakh have been completed and delivered to the beneficiaries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had launched the scheme on the 25th of June 2015. This was informed by the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs, Kaushal Kishore, in a written reply in Rajya Sabha today. Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla today chaired a meeting of Chief Secretaries and DGPs of Assam and Mizoram. The meeting lasted for over 2 hours. Both the state governments agreed for deployment of a neutral force. Therefore, Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF) will be deployed in the affected areas on the Assam-Mizoram border along NH 306 under supervision of a senior officer of the CRPF. According to Ministry of Home Affairs officials, both the sides also agreed to continue discussion mutually to resolve the border issue in an amicable manner.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken calls on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. U.S. announces additional $25 million to support India's COVID-19 vaccination program. Antony Blinken also meets National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, discuss strategic issues of importance in security, defence, economic and technology-related sectors. Both houses of the parliament witness adjournments as opposition creates ruckus on various issues including Pegasus snooping. Cabinet clears Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation Bill 2021. Bill ensures all bank deposits such as savings, fixed deposits, current or recurring deposits. Parliament passes Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021. Government informs around 1 crore 13 lakh houses sanctioned under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana urban till date. CRPF to be deployed on disturbed area of Assam-Mizoram border, says MHA. Centre asks state and union territories to issue strict directions to take necessary measures for management of COVID-19. More than 44,61 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.37%. BJP National President JP Nadda launches National Health Volunteers Campaign. In Jammu and Kashmir, 7 persons killed while 10 to 15 people missing after cloudburst in Kishtwar district. In Tokyo Olympics, shuttler PV Sindhu and archer Deepika Kumari progress to pre-quarterfinals. Pugilist Pooja Rani enters quarterfinals. And in cricket, the second T20 between India and Sri Lanka underway in Colombo. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. You are listening to the evening news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today held an interaction with representatives of religious and social organizations through video conferencing to discuss the COVID-19 situation. He said that the interaction is yet an example of society and government working together for the benefit of the country. Mr. Modi appreciated the work done by these organizations towards meeting the challenges posed by COVID-19. He said the help provided to people was beyond caste or religious considerations and was a shining example of Ek Bharat, Ek Nishtha Prayas. He said temples, mosques and churches and gurdwaras across the country doubled up as hospitals and isolation centers while also helping the needy get food and medicines. The Prime Minister also asked the leaders to be a part of the celebration of 75 years of independence. He asked them to ensure that everyone becomes a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. He said that on this occasion we should work towards uniting the entire length and breadth of the nation through a Bharat Joro Andolan and showcase the true spirit of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. The leaders thanked the Prime Minister for organizing the interaction and lauded his decisive leadership in the fight against the pandemic. More than 44 crore 61 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said the recovery rate has reached 97.39%. More than 41,000 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours. India reported more than 43,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 640 deaths were reported.
The centre has asked states and union territories to issue strict directions to the district and all other local authorities concerned to take necessary measures for management of COVID-19. In a letter to State's Chief Secretaries, Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla today said the officers concerned should be made personally responsible for any laxity in strict enforcement of COVID-appropriate behaviour. He said with the decline in the number of active COVID cases, the states and UTs are reopening their activities in a gradual manner. The centre has advised states to conduct state-specific sero-surveys in consultation with the Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR to generate district-level data on sero-prevalence. The Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written a letter to Additional Chief Secretary, Principal Secretary and Health Secretaries of all states. Mr. Bhushan said this survey is essential in formulating localized public health response measures.
BJP National President JP Nadda launched National Health Volunteers Campaign from the BJP headquarters in New Delhi today. He said that under this campaign, around 4 lakh volunteers would be trained who would work on the grassroots level on COVID. Mr. Nadda said that under this campaign, they have to reach 2 lakh villages. In Gujarat, the state government today decided to slash rates of RT-PCR tests being conducted by private laboratories to 400 rupees from the existing 700 rupees. For RT-PCR samples collected from homes or hospitals, private laboratories will have to take only 550 rupees. Briefing the media in Gandhinagar, Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel said the decision to reduce the rates of RT-PCR test has been taken as part of the state government's preparation for a possible third wave of the pandemic. More from Ahmedabad correspondent.
Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel said the government has also reduced the rates for RT-PCR tests being conducted at the airports to rupees 2,700 from the existing rupees 4,000. The rate for HR-CT scan conducted at the private hospitals has also been reduced to 2,500. Keeping in mind the possibility of the third wave, Mr. Patel said the government will purchase CT scan and MRI machine for various government hospitals and medical colleges at rupees 112 crore. Aparna Khun, AR News, Ahmedabad.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program Corona Jagrukta series will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19 tonight. Dr. Anupam Prakash, Professor of Medicine, Lady Hardinge Medical College, will participate in the live discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free number 1-800-115767 and on telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. After assuming charge, the new Chief Minister of Karnataka, Basavaraj Bommai, has announced social welfare benefits for the farmers' children, senior citizens, widows and physically challenged. After holding a cabinet meeting with the officials, the Chief Minister informed media persons that a sum of 1,000 crore rupees will be earmarked for a scholarship scheme to benefit farmers' children to pursue higher education. Mr. Bommai also enhanced monthly allowance of senior citizens from 1,000 rupees per month to 1,200 rupees under Sandhya Suraksha Yojana. A sum of 863.52 crore additional allocation is needed for this that will benefit over 35 lakh beneficiaries. He also enhanced allowance paid to the widows from 600 rupees to 800 rupees. An additional sum of 414 crore rupees is needed for this that will benefit 17.25 lakh beneficiaries. The allowance paid to the physically challenged was also enhanced from 600 rupees to 800 rupees to benefit 3,66,000 persons. On the cabinet expansion, he said that senior party leaders will be consulted to induct party legislators into the cabinet. He also informed that he has sought an appointment from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Home Minister, the Defence Minister and the party National President.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, होम मिनिस्टर अमित शाह जी, डिफेंस मिनिस्टर राजनाथ सिंह जी और नड्डा जी, उन्होंने मेरे ऊपर बहुत विश्वास रख के ये जो जिम्मेदारी दिया है और मैं ऑनेस्टली प्रामाणिक तौर से निभाने के लिए मेरा सर्वशक्ति इसमें लगा। मेरे ऊपर इतना जिम्मेदारी है कि जब उनके टाइम पे जो अच्छा काम किया है उसको आगे भी लेके जाना है, नया काम भी करना है और मेरा पार्टी को नेक्स्ट इलेक्शन में जीतने का एक पॉलिटिकल जिम्मेदारी भी है।
The Election Commission of India today held a review meeting on advanced planning for the forthcoming elections with the Chief Electoral Officers, CEOs of the 5 states. These states are Goa, Manipur, Punjab, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. Interacting with the CEOs in New Delhi, Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra said that transparency and impartiality are the hallmark of the election process. He added that issues and challenges may be different in each state, but election planning needs to have a voter-centric approach and participative decision-making involving all stakeholders. Mr. Chandra stressed on the significance of the purity of the electoral roll and asked the CEOs for expeditious redressal of all pending applications with regard to voter registration. Indian Eves continued the winning spree today in the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games as boxer Pooja Rani entered the quarterfinals, while star shuttler PV Sindhu and archer Deepika Kumari have progressed to the pre-quarterfinals. On the 6th day today, India's medal hopeful and Rio silver medalist PV Sindhu stormed into the pre-quarterfinals of the women's singles after defeating Hong Kong's Cheung Yi 21-9, 21-16 in the final Group J match. World number 7 Sindhu will meet Group 1 topper Denmark's world number 1, 12, Mia Blichfeld at 6:15 a.m. tomorrow. All India Radio will broadcast running commentary on the match. In boxing, Pooja Rani has entered the quarterfinals, knocking out Ichrak Chaib of Algeria in round of 16 of the women's middleweight. The Indian archer Deepika Kumari has reached the pre-quarterfinals in the women's category, defeating Mucino Fernandez Jennifer of USA 6-4 in the round of 16. Earlier, she won in the elimination round of 32, defeating Karma of Bhutan 6-0.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the J&K Sports Council today hosted a function at MA Stadium, Jammu, to extend support to Cheer for India campaign for Tokyo 2020 Indian contingent. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that Secretary, J&K Sports Council, Nusrat Garg, expressed her best wishes to the team of athletes representing the country at the Tokyo Olympics. She appreciated the role of officers and officials of J&K Sports Council, Jammu, who also attended the function to extend their support to Indian athletes and prayed for their best performance. She also congratulated Chanu Saihom Mirabai for winning the silver medal for the country. Listeners from across the country are participating in the Olympic quiz with AIR News. Listeners have emailed us their replies in huge numbers. Prakriti Sharma of Junjunu in Rajasthan was the first to send the correct answer of the question of the 27th of July. Many congratulations to her from the entire team of AIR News.
In cricket, India were 83 for 2 in 12.4 overs against Sri Lanka in the second T20 international of the three-match series at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo when reports last came in. Earlier, Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to field. In the first T20, the visitors beat the hosts by 38 runs. The second T20 match was to be played yesterday but was postponed after visiting all-rounder Krunal Pandya tested positive for COVID-19. India have entered the T20 series on the back of a 2-1 win in the ODI series. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 7 persons were killed while as many as 10 to 15 people are missing after cloudburst triggered flash floods in Honzab locality in Dakchan area in Kishtwar district early morning today. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the centre is closely monitoring the situation in the wake of the cloudbursts in Kishtwar and Kargil. In a tweet, he said all possible assistance has been made available in the affected areas.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi is likely to experience a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will hover between 26 and 30 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature will be 25, maximum is expected around 30 degrees. Chennai is expected to have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will vary between 25 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The city will observe a minimum temperature of 26 degrees and a maximum of around 29 degrees. Srinagar will experience a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken calls on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. U.S. announces additional $25 million to support India's COVID-19 vaccination program. Antony Blinken also meets National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, discuss strategic issues of importance in security, defense, economic and technology-related sectors. Both houses of parliament witness adjournments as opposition creates ruckus on various issues, including Pegasus snooping. Cabinet clears Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation Bill 2021. Bill ensures all bank deposits such as savings, fixed deposits, current or recurring deposits. Parliament passes Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021. Government informs around 1 crore 13 lakh houses sanctioned under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban till date. CRPF to be deployed on disturbed area of Assam-Mizoram border, says MHA. Centre asks states and union territories to issue strict directions to take necessary measures for management of COVID-19. More than 44 crore 61 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.39%. BJP National President JP Nadda launches National Health Volunteers campaign. In Jammu and Kashmir, 7 persons killed while 10 to 15 people missing after cloudburst in Kishtwar district. In Tokyo Olympics, shuttler PV Sindhu and archer Deepika Kumari progress to the pre-quarterfinals. Pugilist Pooja Rani enters quarterfinals. And in cricket, the second T20 between India and Sri Lanka underway in Colombo. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.